Hi everyone, today is July 18th, 2023, and we're at 1 Kings chapter 2. In my eyes, chapter 2 had an overarching theme of unfaithfulness and consequences. We have a total of 3 people who were unfaithful in today's chapter and ended up paying the price for their actions. So starting off with the first one, we have Adonijah. If you joined yesterday's journey, you know that Adonijah tried stealing the throne from Solomon, and Solomon ended up forgiving him, but making sure and reminded him that if he tries something evil or wicked one more time, he will be put to death. And in our chapter today, in verse 17, Adonijah asks for a wife, but he doesn't just ask for any wife. In verse 17, we can see that he, through Bathsheba, talked to Solomon and demanded that he be given one of David's women. This meant that Adonijah still had a deep desire to take the throne away from Solomon, and so for his unfaithfulness, he is struck down and killed in verse 25. Next person, we have Joab. We learned today that Joab went behind David's back and without him knowing, killed 2 innocent men. And although he fled to the tent and refused to leave, he is still struck down and killed in verses 31 and 34 for his unfaithfulness and innocent bloodshed. And lastly, we have a man named Shimei. Solomon and him basically make a covenant or a promise that he will remain in Jerusalem for what he's done in the past, and that once he leaves Jerusalem, he will be put to death. And actually, for a period of time, Shimei keeps this promise. However, he ends up breaking it by going to Gath for his servants. And due to his unfaithfulness, like the previous 2 people, he is put to death. Now, many of us may feel like these deaths are a little stupid because the instructions that they were given were very, very clear and simple, and all they needed to do was stay faithful to God. Adonijah simply had to stay away from the throne. Joab needed to resist murdering 2 innocent people, and Shimei just had to stay in Jerusalem. But because of the very fact that we are all sinners, they all ended up falling into temptation. Now, before all of these things happen, we actually have David's death, and I want to end with this. Before he returns to his fathers, in verses 2 to 4, David gives Solomon very clear instructions on remaining faithful to God. And it says, "I'm about to go the way of all the earth. Be strong and show yourself a man and keep the charge of the Lord your God, walking in his ways and keeping his statutes, his commandments, his rules, and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that you may prosper in all that you do and wherever you turn, that the Lord may establish his word that he spoke concerning me, saying, if your sons pay close attention to their way, to walk before me in faithfulness with all their heart and with all their soul, you shall not lack a man on the throne of Israel." Reading today's chapter and these 3 examples, it really gave me a chance to reflect on my unfaithfulness, and I really hope that it did the same for you guys too. We won't ever be 100% perfectly faithful because, like I said, we are all sinners. But I really do hope that today's chapter reminded us of how short we fall next to God. And I also hope that it gives us a chance to be grateful for God's great grace and faithfulness towards us. Well, that is it for today's journey. I thank you all so much for joining. I really hope that you guys had some kind of takeaway from today's word, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow with the next chapter. Bye!